By now we have all seen Ruin, and have heard someone saying that Princess Quest is the canon ending to Security Breach, and are using that explanation to add to their various theories. But from what I've seen for the DLC, I've led to 3 entirely different conclusions. 1. The Burrows Trap ending is indeed the true ending. 2. The Princess Quest ending happens, but not in the way we see it. And 3. An entirely different ending happened in Security Breach. In this series, I'm going to point out some things that led me to believe those 3 conclusions, and find any evidence that proves which one is true, starting from the beginning of the DLC and working my way towards the end. Now, if you haven't seen any of my videos or Reddit posts before, then hello, I'm Jonsie, and we're about to burrow down into the hidden depths of Ruin.
Gregory? You there? I got your message. Gregory, are you there? I don't get it. Why would Gregory tell me to come to this old place and then not be here? What is that? Maybe if I get up there, I can see better.
Immediately, in the very first cutscene of the game, the scene that introduces us to Cassie, her motivation, and the ruined Pizzaplex, something interesting is said that everyone has missed.
Gregory? Gregory? You there? I got your message. I don't get it. Why would Gregory tell me to come to this old place and then not be here?
Now, knowing what we know about the Mimic and how it communicates throughout the DLC, this stands out to me in a way that has alarm bells ringing. Somehow, Cassie got a message sent to her from Grimmick outside the Pizzaplex. Message can mean either a voicemail, text message, or an email. But I'm going to assume she meant email because I don't see a phone underneath the Pizzaplex. As far as I'm aware, the Mimic is only connected to the Pizzaplex through the Vanny network. If it's not, that means it has access to the World Wide Web, and that has scary implications. However, if it doesn't, that means that a third party working with the Mimic contacted Cassie and lured her to the ruined Pizzaplex. Another thing that Cassie says is interesting is that the Pizzaplex is an old place. Old can mean that it's been decades since it was last opened. That looks unlikely considering that Gregory sounds the same as he did previously, and the Pizzaplex, while ruined, doesn't look as abandoned as a decade-old building. My assumption is that the DLC takes place at least a year to a year and a half later after the base game. This is all due to the timetable of Fazbear Entertainment deciding to tear down the Pizzaplex, gathering workers and beginning to do it, and then eventually pausing in its deconstruction. That makes it long enough for Cassie to say it's old, but not long enough to be considered too old. Making our way to Roxy Raceway, we see graffiti everywhere. Some warn us, some don't mean anything to us right now, might be explained later in above, and some are just drawn from steel wool. But there are 3 I want to point out. First is the green graffiti of eyes. We see them multiple times as we move throughout the Pizzaplex, though I can only remember seeing 2 others for now. The eyes aren't drawn in pairs like on someone's face, but drawn singularly, with each design having distinct appearances from each other. One has an X-shaped pupil, another is squish, another is swirls, and one even has eyelashes, etc. Yet not a single one is closed. All of them watches us as we continue towards Grimmy. The significance of watching eyes doesn't stop with the green graffiti either, as we all know eyes pop up in the AR world too. Second is the picture of Vanny's face next to a sliced pizza. How do I know it's a picture of Vanny and not Bonnie? Because of the artist's depiction of the rabbit's eyes. They match the general shape of both her mask and her Help Wanted mask. Here are some things I haven't seen anybody mention yet. That exact graffiti can be found in the room where Burnt Fat boss fights take place in. That shade of purple paint is the same purple that Vanny uses whenever she draws her face or graffiti her name, like in the case of her room in Blast in both Security Breach and Ruin. Do you know where else we can find her name? On the wall of ruined Montague, right where Monty scrambles away from us before we reach the electric door. You know what else we can find there? A 3-step ladder, a couple of spray cans, 1 orange, 2 blue, 2 yellow, and a bench with purple covers on it underneath a Party Time Bonnie poster. Not only that, but that star print cover matches Foxy's private cove curtains. Remember that pizza drawing I mentioned earlier? The one made with yellow paint on my ad? You find that same drawing of it next to a certain name on Fazbear Theater's screen. Jeremy. Help wanted anyone? My conclusion? Vanny is still alive, active, and living in the building following the closing and deconstruction of the Pizzaplex. Now the third thing might be nothing, but I do find it curious. The graph next to Vanny's face is also colored purple, but a lighter shade. It was drawn before Vanny's, and she painted her face at the very end of what I believe says filled with envy. Now that might relate to Vanny's feelings regarding Gregory and how in the Tales book he is considered the wizard's favorite apprentice. The wizard speculatively, of course, being Goodstrap, and it might be a reason for going after Gregory. As we reach the Roxy talkie, it's here where I call out something sus. Ask yourself this, how did Walkie Talkie get there? Isn't it weird that it's just sitting there before the elevator shaft? Not only that, but it's placed in a way that somebody coming through the convenient opening in the boarded up front entrance can hear static noises and go investigate it.
What is that? Maybe if I get up there, I can see better.
Next, we enter the elevator shaft and climb onto its ladder. We are then hit with some clever foreshadowing as the elevator comes crashing down behind us. Now, whether it fell because of faulty wiring or because someone or something made it fall is anyone's guess. Moving on, we go through a vent, fall through it, and meet our first animatronic of the DLC, Ruin Chica. Her design is slightly different from her shattered form, but that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is why she, and only her out of all the glam rocks, is constantly shutting down. Shutting down the way she is means she's low on battery power. But if that's the case, why is she the only one being affected by that? It can't be because of the damage inflicted on her, as Monty has her beaten there, and Roxy, who is about as equally damaged, seems more than fine on battery power. Same with Freddy / Prologue Freddy, whichever one you believe in. Speaking of Freddy, here is something that everyone has forgotten about. It is a plot point / game mechanic in the base game. Freddy was having problems with his recharge cycle, and while in safe mode his power was constantly low, making his usability limited throughout the security breach. This begs the question of how Freddy / Prologue Freddy still has the power to chase Cassie throughout Phazaglass, as presumably it's been a year / a year and a half since the security breach. Next, we grab the Phazbridge. I have nothing to say here that hasn't been theorized about already. Next, we do a puzzle, go down some stairs, where we catch the first and last glimpse of the biggest, what is that, of security breach. The Blob, or the Tangle as it's now named, is above ground now, unlike the base game. It just disappears for the rest of the DLC. I guess we'll learn more about it at a later date. Due to that, I want to take a moment and mention some things. I don't think the Tangle caused the earthquake that shut down the Pizzaplex. Why? Because of the way this thing behaves and moves. Remember the security breach teasers in the Burn Trap boss fight? The Tangle slithers around and uses its tendrils like a snake or a slimy worm judging from the sound it makes when it moves. Just like a certain nightmare puppet that we've been seeing everywhere in the Pizzaplex. It was last seen in that VR game. Also, it has been inside the Pizzaplex before, judging from the things missing from Rockstar Row. If something that big tore through the walls and the foundation of the building, or even Roxy Raceway, we would have heard about something in the security breach messages. Instead, from what I can tell, it moves more silently than what its large size may suggest. Something else to mention is that it sleeps, as it's the first thing we see it doing when we first encounter it. Not shut down like a machine would be, but instead sleeping, only waking up and attacking us if we are outside of Freddy, and awakening attacking us during the Burn Trap boss fight. But why is it awake during the fight, and not when Freddy loudly hops down next to it? Questions for another time. What is more important here, and relates to Ruin, is that it is indeed real, and has the same design and security breach, something that goes against the narrative that Gregory is drawing shows us the non-canon ending of the base game. It's weird, I won't lie about it. Every Gregory drawing has 2 pictures depicting each ending, except for the Disassemble Vanny ending and the Burn Trap ending, with the Princess Quest having none. I'll talk about that particular ending in a different video. But no matter what can be said about the ending chosen for Security Breach, Gregory has to, at the very least, have seen the Tango, as his depiction of it is spot on from the real thing. He couldn't have gone down under the Pizzaplex with Violet's Freddy and Vanessa as the Princess Quest ending, as the Tango would have killed them all, just like in the base game. But he had to have gone under the Pizzaplex at some point, as Book Bag is down there. And the Burn Trap ending is the only ending sequence out of all of them in which he goes down there and sees the Tango. Unless Vanny brought his stuff down there after he escaped the Pizzaplex, but that just raises more questions. Finally, we continue on. We go through a door, go through a hallway, get pushed into the water by Ruin Monty, and then the title sequence drops. End of part 1. But the beginning of my series being converted into video format for everyone to enjoy and see what exactly I'm talking about in my series. For those who don't want to wait for the next video and would like to read ahead, go to the FNAF Ruin, the Important Things Missed tables of contents below. But for those patient enough to wait, strap in and hold on tight, because Ruin is hiding much, much more than anybody realizes.